Our journey continues here in Jerusalem with a search for the Ark of the Covenant. Legends have placed the Ark in faraway places like Ethiopia or Ireland, but CBN's Chris Mitchell spoke with one researcher who believes the Ark might be a lot closer than people think.
Our journey continues here in Jerusalem in search of the Ark of the Covenant. Legends place the Ark in distant locations such as Ethiopia or Ireland. Reporter Chris Mitchell interviewed a researcher who suggests the Ark may be much closer than previously thought. The Ark of the Covenant symbolized the divine presence among the Israelites, being a visual reminder of the covenant made with the only true God. God revealed himself to his people in the Ark of the Covenant when Jerusalem was sacked by Babylon in the 6th century BCE. Since then, in the following thousands of years, the Ark has disappeared, keeping interested in history believers, scientists, historians, and archaeologists in tireless search. For a long time, progress in this search was scarce, but a recent scientific discovery may surprise, indicating almost the location of the Ark of the Covenant, according to the Bible. Not everyone has the privilege of touching the Ark of the Covenant, so why should scientists do it? There is an element of mystery here. I invite you to watch until the end of the video to find out. Many scientists claim to have followed the latest clues from the Ark of the Covenant to locate this sacred object. Ron Wyatt, for example, claimed to have discovered the Ark of the Covenant and its 10 tablets buried beneath the remains of the ancient city of Jerusalem. Since its escape from Egypt and settlement in the Promised Land, the Ark of the Covenant should have been kept in the Holy Temple, also known as Solomon's Temple. 600 years before Jesus' death, the Babylonians invaded and destroyed much of Jerusalem, including the temple. It was at that moment that the Ark of the Covenant disappeared into history. Ron Wyatt argued that the Ark of the Covenant, the most sacred Jewish artifact, was hidden in an underground chamber, which was sealed and forgotten. In addition to Ron, several other scientists claim to have found the Ark that was lost thousands of years ago. When this sacred artifact was located, everyone eagerly awaited to see what scientists would find when they opened it. Could the contents of the Ark truly correspond to what is described in the Bible? If scientists were to open the Ark of the Covenant, the first thing they would want to do is determine whether it is the Israelites' Ark of the Covenant or one of the identical religious boxes used by other Northwest Semitic ethnic groups. In July 1981, the residents of Israel were surprised by extraordinary news. Moti Eden, a reporter for Radio Israelis, announced on his nightly program that 2 rabbis had found the Ark of the Covenant and that he himself was an eyewitness to what happened. What Eden had actually witnessed was the clandestine excavation of a group of Orthodox Jews who believed they were on their way to finding the valuable treasure. They believed that a tunnel lateral to the western wall would lead them to the ancient most holy place of the temple, beneath which the tablets of the law and other original artifacts would be hidden. Today, what we see at the site of the ancient temple are the Islamic buildings of the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The result, evidently, was an immediate reaction by Muslims who went into armed struggle against Jewish militants, causing the death of 6 students. The situation only got worse because Rabbi Meir Getz, who led the excavations, gave in to a political agreement, putting a warm blanket on the issue. Getz died in 1995, and a year later the tunnel was partially opened to the public as a tourist attraction. Despite the agitation, no concrete proof was presented that the Ark was actually there. But this wasn't the only time someone claimed to have found her. Purported findings. The Ethiopians say that the real Ark would be in their country, in a chapel in the city of Aksum. They argue that it was stolen from the Jewish temple by Prince Menelik, son of Solomon, and the Queen of Sheba. The curious thing is that, with the exception of a few politicians, no one was allowed to see or photograph the Ark, which makes this tradition quite suspicious. Vendell Jones, probably the most eccentric of the discoverers, was the inspiration for Steven Spielberg to create the character Indiana Jones. Based on an obscure text found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Copper Scroll, Jones says he has deciphered the map of where the ark and other sacred utensils of the temple would be located. In 1988, he presented a small earthen vessel whose contents would be shemen afarshimon, the sacred oil of the priests. Later chemical analyses seem to lend some credence to his discovery, but the matter is not technically closed yet. Later in 1992, Jones showed journalists a pot of ashes that he claimed originally belonged to Ketoret, the temple's sacred incense. Many, of course, say it's all a hoax. With absolute certainty, he promised that he would reveal the exact location of the ark in August of this year. But so far, nothing concrete has been presented, and the merit of Vendell Jones seems to have just inspired the creation of a Hollywood character. Inside the Adventist camp, a health professional named Ron Wyatt also claimed to have found the ark. Unfortunately, the hasty excitement, followed by the easy way in which the internet spreads untruths, caused many brothers, in good faith, to believe in Wyatt's story and even spread it through the pulpit. Although we do not have space here to show the flaws in his supposed discoveries, we can briefly say that Wyatt claimed to have found the ark in 1982. According to his story, God had given him a special revelation on the occasion of his visit to Jerusalem, showing Jeremiah's cave, inside which would be the Ark of the Covenant. Armed with a debatable permission to excavate at the site, which is near the gate of Damascus, Wyatt said he found Goliath's sword, the table of unleavened bread, the altar of incense, and other things there. His plot, filled with angelic appearances and visions of Christ, ends with the finding of the ark and the 10 Commandments. Ron said he also took several photos, but almost all of them burned. The only one left offers nothing that could be called convincing. Just a bright light where he claims to be able to visualize the face of Christ sitting on a heavenly throne. In a very confusing theology, Wyatt also pointed out the place as Calvary and concluded that when Christ died, his blood penetrated the ground, sprinkling the ark that would be a few meters below. This would be the fulfillment of Daniel 9:24. Now, the biblical text does not say that the ark would be anointed, but rather the Holy of Holies, which, if understood in a personal sense, refers to Christ and, in a geographical sense, to the heavenly sanctuary. Even because the most holy place of the earthly sanctuary was not on Calvary, but inside the temple. Ron Wyatt also claimed to have collected samples of Christ's blood, but, as in previous statements, it was all an unfounded theory. Like Vendell Jones, he was also challenged to present more substantial evidence than he said. So he promised that in a year or two, he would return to the site with a team of scientists and reveal the ark to the world. He would only wait for an order from God saying that the time has come to do so. However, Wyatt died in 1999, and to this day, none of his collaborators have presented any evidence to legitimize his claims.